This is Iona East Bay, the Little Island and Mull, by the Scottish colourist FCB Cadell, painted in the 1920s. Cadell first visited the Hebridean island of Iona in 1912. The beauty of the island, its ever-changing weather conditions, its shimmering light, the views from and within the island, its dazzling white sands, its geological variety inspired Cadell to return for most summers after the First World War until at least 1933. In this painting we see the white strand at the northeast of the island. See Cowes Rock behind, leading to the little island and the Strait of Storm and the neighbouring island of Mull beyond. It was an area of the island which Cadell loved and painted on many occasions, often using a white gesso ground which absorbs the oil paint and allows the artist to work very quickly, which was ideal if you were trying to capture those magical moments of sunshine on the island. The Scottish colourist Francis Campbell Boileau Cadell had a celebrated studio practice based in his home in Edinburgh, but also enjoyed painting outdoors in locations around Scotland and also in France. He was often drawn to architectural subjects in locations to which he had personal links. And this painting, called The Steading, of about 1927, we think depicts a complex of rural buildings near the village of Auchnacraig on Mull, probably painted when Cadell was either on the way to or coming back from the neighbouring island of Iona. We see a wonderful sun-dappled scene before us with a view along the grass, through the trees, over the wall to the building behind, and onto the hills in the background. There's a wonderful sense of the strength and heat of the sun, which causes these deep shadows underneath the trees. We see how Cadell has enjoyed painting the weathered and varied textures of the stonework before him, with a very deliberate technique, these defined brushstrokes put on in layers and with highlights of yellow and other colours to bring the rhythm of the work to life. It's a glorious image of that island of Mull at its very best on a happy summer's day. Cadell enjoyed working outdoors on the island of Iona and would often work in watercolour on an intimate scale, which would allow him to work at speed, spontaneously, as we see in these two watercolours. At the top, we have On the Shore Iona of about 1922, and at the bottom we have White Sands North End Iona of the 1920s. In the top work we're invited to join the person sitting at the lower left, gazing over the strait between Iona and the neighbouring island of Mull, and we see a boat and a steamer in the water in the mid-ground. We can see Cadell's use of pencil as he sketches out the main forms of the composition, and then a brushstroke loaded with quite a lot of water as well as the watercolour to work very quickly and intuitively to create this idyllic scene. And here in the White Sands North End Iona, this is in the northeast of the island, and it's one of the most picturesque areas where Cadell and his fellow Scottish colourist Peploe like to work. And here we see a bravura capturing of that wonderful Hebridean weather. He leaves some of the paper unpainted so that its own colour adds to the palette of the work. And there's a real sense of working at speed and dragging his brush across the paper, making the most of the texture of the support in this wonderful evocation of Hebridean weather.